Hampton National Historic Site is a National Park Service property in Towson, Maryland. Hampton was a plantation, a site of forced labor for hundreds of enslaved persons and indentured servants from 1750 through 1864. Iron workers, gardeners, skilled artisans, agricultural and domestic workers, grooms and jockeys were all forced to labor here for the benefit of generations of the Ridgely family, a family of businessmen, musicians, a Maryland governor, travelers, hostesses, and writers. Hampton Mansion today contains original artifacts from 3 centuries, and its slave quarters begin a story that recent ethnographic work builds on, tracing the lives of the people who built and sustained the Ridgely wealth. This virtual tour will walk through never-before-seen upper floors in the slave quarters and an exhibit on tools of labor which is not a part of the standard tour. Going behind the scenes gives us a chance to more closely examine the connections between iron and slavery here at Hampton. The overseer's quarters contain replicas of chains, collars, and whips from this plantation that forged weapons in its early days as an iron furnace. These punishing devices, themselves forged in the heat of the furnaces, forced indentured servants and enslaved persons to craft cannons and guns for the American Revolutionary War and the War of 1812. The quarters also contain items that freedom seekers would have relied on for journeys to Baltimore City, Pennsylvania, or points north.
Behind me you can see several tools that were likely used by indentured servants and enslaved persons to perform the back-breaking labor which built and sustained this estate. This item here is a scythe and grain cradle. So as a laborer was working the fields, they would swing it back and forth to simultaneously cut the straw or grain and gather it in the cradle. The Ridgeleys derived much of their initial wealth from the Northampton iron furnace. 2 enslaved individuals, Toby and Daniel, are recorded as holding the skilled positions as founders at the iron furnace, meaning they helped determine the ore and limestone that was used. Here you can see an anvil, which was likely used to work metal. Here we have a bucket that was likely used to carry water, and I can imagine how difficult it would have been to carry that full.
A decision to seek freedom or remain in intolerable bondage was never an easy one, despite the inherent evil of slavery in all its dehumanizing force. These quarters are larger, sturdier, and better protected against the elements than many other slave quarters around the country. Stone quarters near these wooden structures were designed to look like a French village, part of the Ridgely's, quote, beneficence and love of beauty. Iron weapons combined with the mental weapon. At least you have. At least you have food. At least you have a place to live. For enslaved persons working in the mansion, at least you have good clothing. The Ridgeleys knew and used "at least you have" as its own kind of powerful weapon in order to benefit from an evil system. These quarters housed families who loved each other. They didn't want to lose each other. They feared together, prayed together, wept together, and planned together with iron determination. And they did this all under the eye of the overseer.